I've had 5 locations. Yep.
Okay.
This is our 5th. I have never had panties in my parking lot.
Okay, welcome back to the Rick Hopper Show. Actually, to be clear, this is not the Rick Hopper Show. Today, it's the Kim Cloud Show.
Aw, thank you.
Yesterday, Kim's all, let's do a podcast. I'm like, of course, we're not going to do a podcast. We're going to do a series because the depth of wisdom and experience that Kim has all by herself is going to take week after week after week to get to share the love and all the fear, the past, and all that stuff. Okay,
Wow.
I'm sorry, that's a terrible introduction. Hey, my name is Rick Hopper with the Rick Hopper Show. Today we have Kim Cloud
That's
on the
not
show.
you.
What? No, it's not me. Anyway, let me introduce today's guest. Kim Cloud has been doing hair for a very long time. I'll let her get into the numbers because I don't want to tell you how old she is by the number of hairs she's done.
Mhm.
But Kim has been in the business for a very long time. She hasn't worked for anybody for a very, very long time.
I got fired.
I got fired. I love the fired stories. We'll get into the fired story, I hope. But today we're going to talk a little bit about a few different things. Kim, in your own words, what have you been doing for the last years?
45 years. Yes. So my mom, I have a single mom, and I wanted to do hair, and she was so worried about my feet. She was scared my feet were going to hurt. That's all she would talk about is if you do hair, your feet are going to hurt, your back's going to hurt, everything's going to hurt. She just couldn't wrap her head around the fact that I wanted to stand in one
She
spot
wasn't
all
scared
day
that you were
long.
going to cut people with sharp
No,
scissors?
that was never one of her concerns, but she had all these health concerns for me. Here I am, I'm 62, I'll be 63 in August, and nothing hurts. Nothing hurts.
Amazing.
And I stand there many,
Show
many
off.
hours
You know how
a day.
people in their 40s, 50s hurt all
Yeah.
the time?
Yes. And so I am very proud of that. Very,
you.
very excited about
Thank
that.
God.
So I'd like to take a bunch of credit for the reason I don't hurt, but Jesus, I
Thank
don't
you,
hurt.
Jesus.
I just need to keep standing there, so he keeps me standing there, I guess. But she said, if you are going to go do hair, I just want you to go do one thing. I want you to be a flight attendant. She just wanted the perks, but she wanted me to be a flight attendant. And she worked for Braniff as a loan officer. I don't think I've ever told you this story. And she,
This is Mary.
yes. And so Mama Mary. And so she said, will you just go check out the flight attendant school? It was at Love Field, where I'm from Garland. I said, sure. So I went over I remember it was a Monday, and I went over and I went through, and it looked fun. And it was, I don't remember how long of a course it was. And when I left there, I had done a little bit of my own research, and down off of Central Expressway 75, I'm not sure what you call it when you aren't from here, but we call it Central Expressway back in the day. And there was a cosmetology college down there. And
Sorry, Mama.
I snuck over and I walked in there. I'll get emotional, but I walked in there and I knew it was what I was meant to do. And I signed up, and then I had to go home and tell her. I did go check out your Braniff school, Mom, but
I went, Mama.
I signed up for a hair school.
It's amazing. Was there an inspiration? How did the burning desire in your belly that, like, I want to do that? Is there somebody or something that happened?
The first thing I remember is a friend of hers that lived across the street that had turned her garage into a little salon. Still alive. She's still alive. And she follows me on
bet her
Facebook and all my TikTok videos. I bet her feet. She is not still doing hair because she's got to be 80 something, right? But I would walk over and watch her.
If you're over 80, we don't mean anything by that. But
Yeah.
80.
I don't want to be standing. As much as I love what I do, there's only one place I'd rather be besides standing behind the chair, and that's hanging out with my husband. But I don't want to be standing there at 80.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would
You won't
trust
be.
me.
I know what's going on in your life these
Yeah,
days. You
yeah.
won't be. And
Thank you.
hopefully you get out of there before your feet start hurting.
Yeah. But Mom forgave me, and she said, as long as you're going to the best school. and I had already done my research, and I knew that I was.
Good. How long was it? Minutes, hours, or days that mom forgave you for
Oh,
taking your path?
seconds.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
You know what? You honored her by going,
Yeah,
and you know what? She knew, obviously, she could read in your eyes and your heart what you really wanted to do.
yeah, yeah.
And she obviously loved you enough
And
to
even
not be so selfish that she doesn't get free flights.
yeah, yeah,
And she wasn't
yeah.
mad at you
Well,
for it.
she got him anyway. She worked for Braniff as a loan officer in
That's sweet.
Grapevine at the
That's
credit
sweet.
union. And so, oh my God, that changed her life. And that's a whole nother deal, is watching my mom make a decision that completely changed her life from being the sad, divorced, betrayed, all those things woman. She changed her job, which changed her surroundings, and she met the most beautiful group of people. And one of them is now coming to the salon and getting her hair done with Cindy.
Oh, full
Gail.
circle.
Gail.
Beautiful.
Gail Post. Gail, who worked with
Okay,
my
we only have an
mother.
hour.
I know.
I want to
Sorry.
get to the next part.
Sorry.
So you go into the business. You're in the industry.
Yeah.
And now you're working for somebody else first, right?
Yep.
I want to get to the fired part.
Okay.
I
I
wanna
worked
get the
for
good guy fired part.
I worked for the meanest lady ever. I won't say her name, but anyway, in Dallas.
She knows who she is, right?
Yeah, probably. I hope she follows me. But anyway, she's it was at Preston and LBJ, 635.
If you're
And
not from the DFW area,
sorry.
pardon us for the
Yeah. But
references.
anyway, one day, Nathan was a baby in a carrier, and I was doing somebody's hair at the house. I don't remember. And so I needed supplies, and there was this little beauty supply that a man named Don Seal owned here in Louisville, Texas. And I walked in and I said, do you know any little salon that would let me just work like 2 days a week when I'm off from the salon, and I'm going to see if I can build something out here in Louisville, Texas, you know?
Sure.
I was driving to Dallas, and he said, yeah, actually in this same shopping center. And I walked in, and there were I won't. Never mind. I'm not going to tell that part of the story because they are friends of mine. But there were these.
Real quick, pause. I'm going to do an audio check. How is she too close to the mic?
No.
Okay, you're good. If you feel uncomfortable, you could probably give it a couple inches if it's too close to your mouth.
How about that?
Okay.
So I
Hold
walk.
on. I'm going to interrupt.
Okay.
You get a job.
Well, I walk into this salon, and there's these 3 young girls. I'm telling you, like 16 years old, working together in this salon. There is an owner, but it's one of their moms, and there is no like boss or anybody. And oh my goodness, what a mess. And I started working there a couple of days a week, and within now at this age, looking back, I feel like I had been there a week. I don't know how long I had been there. The lady who owned it asked me if I wanted to buy it. And I was 18. No, I wasn't, because Nathan was born. I was 20. I just turned
she's
20.
20, and you're working at this salon, a 20-year-old girl, and the
Mhm.
owner says,
Do you want to buy it? And I was like, I can't buy this place. And she said, I'll sell it to you for $5,000. And I went to the local bank, and he declined me. He said, beauty salon, beauty shops.
Oh,
Beauty shops don't make it. And I said, let me prove you
I hope
wrong.
he follows you too.
He does. He's still a
He
client.
does?
Yes, he's
Oh
a
my gosh,
client
he's
of
probably one
Nicole's.
of your biggest cheerleaders
Yeah,
now.
he is. And he loves that story.
I
He
love
made me get a cosigner. My dad co-signed for me, and I bought this little salon, and I kept it for several years, but that shopping center started kind of dying, and I didn't have a clue what I was doing. So I thought, I'm going to go learn a little bit more working for someone else, and I'll circle back around to this owning stuff.
Okay.
So your fired story is I was working at a local salon.
Well, this is after you bought the place? You did
I bought
buy
the place, and I owned it for many years. There was a Gibson's and a Safeway, and they both went out. And so
no.
the shopping center was dying. It's still there.
Became the Cloud,
Yeah.
Cloud 9 shopping center?
Yeah, I wish. Man.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's at Fox and 35, right
Ooh,
before
yeah.
Main Street, and there's a Starbucks and a
Oh, well. No
anyway,
regrets.
grocery store. Anyway, so
So you did the...
I'm
Well,
sitting
no,
on
we
my,
have a rule. Is your phone ringing?
It's
We have a
sitting-
rule. If the phone rings on the show, you have to answer it.
I'm vibrating
I know.
on
You
my
have to lose
butt.
it.
It's stuff, I don't know.
Okay.
But I said
I
on
tell
it.
everybody the rule is if you're on the show and the phone rings, you have to answer it on
Yeah,
camera.
that was good. I thought it was Christopher. Anyway, but so I decided to go work for some other people.
Did you make your money back in the
I
$5,000
made my
expense?
oh gosh, yes, I made
did
my
good.
money back. I made some great friends, and I still do all those clients.
But as a business owner, You got a business cheap. You're doing it. Okay, the shopping center fell apart, but
I
you
could
still
have
thought
moved
you
it.
needed more employee experience?
I felt like I needed more business experience,
Okay.
because you're
And you thought you would get that
remember
through a
you're
job.
yeah, well, you're kind of self-employed. And
Oh,
and I
in that
felt like I
industry.
just
That's
needed more experience in building clients, and I remember knowing that I could move it or close it. I chose to close it. Sure, I wish I'd have kept it, I'm sure, and moved it. But
no regrets.
yeah, I really don't have any regrets. So I go and
So you
I
get this
work
job. Let's
for
get to the
several
fire.
yeah,
Kim
yeah.
got fired part.
So I go and I work at several different salons for some great people in town, and, I'm working at this one salon who it was a mom and her 2 sons, and, loved it there, and my business grew there, and one day, they were coming down really hard on a girl, can't even remember why, but whatever it was, I disagreed, and I spoke up in her defense, and they said, "If you don't like it, you can go too." And I said, "Fine." And then I got outside and was like, "Crap, I'm booked solid. Where am I gonna go?" And Ty Cloud, father of my children, said, "Let's open you one. You've been talking about, let's do it." And there was this little tiny 800 square feet spot at Fox and Edmonds in Louisville, Texas that was Cloud 9. That was the beginning of Cloud 9. And we were there with our 800 square feet, expanded there to 1,500, moved to Highland Village with 3,000 square feet, built the building in Flower Mound that was 8,000 square feet. And then I did probably the craziest thing I've ever done in my Cloud 9 history, which was Christopher and I were my husband and I walking to my car after eating at Marty B's. And I was like, "Isn't this piece of land just beautiful? Wouldn't the shop be pretty here?" He's like, "Do it." Well, it wasn't for sale. So I chased that for a year. They finally sold it to me. It took me 2 years to sell the Flower Mound building. And when it sold, we were just coming out of COVID, and many
What's
smart
COVID? Tell us about that.
oh god.
I'm just kidding.
I almost gave my
little interruption. I was walking onto a plane, walking through first class the other day, and this lady, kind of a bigger lady, coughs. It's like,
Oh.
and I'm like going, and I stopped. I go, "Hey," I looked around. I go, "You guys remember COVID? You remember how we treated each other when we had a
Yeah.
little cough?
Yeah,
Unbelievable. The
it
world
was.
is getting better."
I have
So,
lots of COVID
okay, so
stories.
I'm sorry.
But,
COVID's over.
yeah,
You
so
you finally
people
sell your
smarter
building.
than me, which I try really hard to surround myself with people smarter than me, recommended that we pause on breaking ground for 1 year and stay in this tiny little pop-up that we had established because we sold Flower Mound to doctors and they needed that building. We pop up in
So just to be clear for the audience, a pop-up is a temporary location. It was a beautiful location.
it
You
was,
guys did an amazing
and it
job,
worked.
and you made do. And everybody
Yeah.
was crammed and squeezed. But what a great community stuck
Yeah.
together
Yeah.
through that transition.
We went from 8,300 square feet to 4,100 and kept all the people, basically. I think 5 didn't go with us. And anyway, so they said it would be really smart for you to wait just a minute because coming out of COVID, getting windows and air conditioning units and things were tough at that time. And they said, "What's going to happen? You're going to break ground and then you're going to have pauses in your building, and that's going to be very expensive."
Right,
Although
because you're
the
using somebody
pop-up
else's money during that time. If you drag that
Yeah.
out, the interest could kill you.
Yes, and the pop-up was the most expensive location I've ever operated because everyone was having to share, right? So rents were way down that I collect from my team. They were way down, less space, less, you can't anyway. And then it was rent. I'm not used to paying rent. I'm used to,
Yeah.
owning the building,
Filling
and
somebody else's
all
bank
these
account.
things were expensive, but still, most likely, looking back, if you compared the two, it was less expensive to sit there and be still, which I don't do real well, and wait. And that's what we did. And
So you
after
you eventually broke ground.
we broke ground,
I want to. So the goal today is to paint a very clear picture to the world. Who's Kim? How'd she get here? What's she been doing? So I kind of want to fast forward through the. We can do another podcast. One of the podcasts you want to do is about building ownership. And what do you think you're gonna call it?
panties in the parking lot.
Panties in the parking lot.
and
Okay, why?
store-
What's been happening?
So I have been Cloud9's owner for 31 years, and I've had 5 locations. 1, 2. Yep,
Okay.
this is our 5th. I have never had Panties in my parking lot.
So you come to work
I build a
and
multi-million-dollar building, and we had
and
been
it's
there.
on a main road. It's not like you're tucked back behind something where people got a place to hide.
No.
So right there on 407 front and center.
Very first pair of panties was at the front doors of the salon, this very beautiful, well-established salon. And one morning, somebody comes in for their appointment and they said, Kim, there's a pair of panties in the parking lot. And so Shannon, one of my team members, went down with me, and we, put gloves on and got the panties and thought, we'll never see panties again. But we have. And there's lots of interesting ideas about why we have pain. I don't know.
Okay, so
But
it's really not.
I started saying, I'm going to do a podcast called Panties in the Parking
And
Lot.
everybody that hears you say it says, do it.
And so now I've been inspired to do it because I think that there's other very interesting stories that small business owners have about different obstacles.
Oh yeah, I
that-
had a few buildings. I'll give you an example of it. So it's not going to be about panties because the panties on the floor are a very short story.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm not. It's supposed to be funny. And I don't think anyone was hurt in the experience of leaving their panties in our parking lot.
Yes, yeah. No, there was
I choose not to believe it. No.
People get to drinking over at the local restaurants,
maybe
and maybe
they or their gym bag.
Sure.
There's a million things that could have happened, but that's not the
crimes
point.
are not being committed in your parking lot.
Crazy things happen when you are a business owner. Crazy things happen.
Yeah,
they do. They just do.
I'll give you an example.
Good, bad, terrifying. That's my word. I as my dear friends, you and Diane both know that I got in a spot after we got in the building where I was terrified. And that is not a word that I use loosely or very often in my life.
Not easy to scare.
And I got in there and I was like, oh my God, now I got to pay for it. I'm the only tenant. The other tenants are building out. They're not paying rent yet.
Yeah, and your financial model required the tenants downstairs.
It was terrifying. And I got in my head, and I think I love to, I want to figure it out because I never want it to happen again. But I think that I was exhausted from the move and from we were a week late getting in.
You
and
did so much yourselves.
Oh my gosh, my husband and I, we were up there every night, right? And you couldn't go there when we weren't there. And we felt like that was necessary, and you do what you got to do, right? And you work through it. But I didn't realize I was exhausted. And when you're exhausted, you're a little weak. And I think, honestly, I'll say, I think the devil said, man, this is perfect timing right now. I'm going to get in her head, and I want her to be terrified. And I want to forget.
Hopeless and helpless.
Hopeless, helpless, joyless.
And that there's no possibility of relief in sight. There's no, I'll never attract the right tenants.
And really, I am in such a different place, and I've changed 3 things that I do. And I truly believe that that's what changed it. I don't think like I woke up one day and said, okay, everything's okay. I think I switched my time, where I gave my energy to, how I got my energy, just doing 3 little things every morning. And that's my devotional, my Bible study, and my prayer time. And I changed what I listened to in the car. And I had to our Christopher and I's word is restore for this year. I think I needed to be restored completely, emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of it.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you because there's a couple more things I want to get into this conversation. You run a nonprofit called Cloud9 Charities. Tell us a little bit about who you serve with that charity and what inspired you to start the charity. Okay. Why'd you do it, and what do you do?
Why? That's a good question. So, you've got to give back to the community.
No, you don't.
Okay,
you don't. Not everybody has that. Not everybody has that pressure in their soul to do something for others.
I believe And someone very wise told me 25 years ago that there is an importance that if you are successful in your community, you should give back to that community. They didn't mean for me to go start my own nonprofit. I don't think at all. I think she was talking about volunteering. And that's what it started off as. I volunteered and I saw so there, you've got to figure out what's in your heart because there's so many people and places you can help, right? And so for me, at first, it
And you
was
can't help everybody.
and you can't help
And, you know,
everybody.
the need is so great. There's so many
Oh
needs
my
out
gosh.
there. How did
So
you pick
so yeah. So it started off as there were so many different people to help. So I thought I want to do an event that highlights the salon. It was selfish. I thought if I'm going to do this, I want it also to benefit
no
business,
harm?
right? Yeah, I think anyway. So we did a
No
fashion.
harm in benefiting
No,
from serving.
I
There's no
believe that.
harm in that.
I believe that. And so we
Now,
did.
if it's your primary motive,
Yeah,
it'll become obvious to everybody that you're doing it for yourself.
yeah,
But benefiting,
and
there's a
will it
fine
really
line.
be successful? I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, might not be.
that's right. Anybody who denies that they're not getting something from a lot of the stuff they give.
Yeah,
Now, Biz Owners Ed is a different example. We'll talk about that one later in a
yeah,
little bit. I do want to get into that a little bit, but that's a completely different type of nonprofit with a
yeah.
completely different community that they serve. Tell us about the community that you serve.
Okay, so Cloud9 Charities started 25, 26 years ago, and we started off as a charity that helped other charities achieve their mission. So we did this fashion show, we did art galas, we did different themed galas every year. We did, then it built into this golf tournament stuff. Anyway, we're doing all these things, and then we would take the money and we had a grant program. So if you had a nonprofit, you would come to us, and if you fit in our mission, which was to help women and children in need, we would all
It's pretty
decide.
pretty
It was
broad.
very broad. And what happened was I was watching 60 Minutes one night and they were doing this amazing story about this man whose wife had died and he lost his home. She had been sick. She wasn't working. He was missing work because she was sick. And so she dies. He loses his home and he turns his van. The kids' beds pulled down from the sides of the van. He was a contractor, so he was very wise in how he did this van. But he would pull up to this gas station every morning, and his senior daughter would get out and go in the
Senior
bathroom
in
and
high
get
school?
and get ready. And then I think the son was like 11. And the whole story was
Wow.
about how in these really nice communities, there are homeless families. And I was like, there's no homeless families in Flower Mound. There's no homeless families in Highland Village. So I started doing my research. And at that time, there were 312 students registered in Denton County schools that were homeless. And that blew my mind.
No
And I
home
was
address.
like, yeah. And so I knew I couldn't help the
How many?
home 312 at that time. And there's way more than that now because this has been, I think we started Bedtime Rescue 12 years ago. It
So
became,
wait, not so fast. Bedtime rescue
yes,
is what you call.
the program that we operate. So Cloud9 Charities started doing this program where a policeman calls us, a church calls us, a teacher or a counselor calls and says, I have this family, they're homeless, and we get them into a hotel really quickly. So at first, for gosh, 5 years, we operated both. We gave to other nonprofits and we operated Bedtime Rescue. And 1 month at our board meeting, it was so amazing. Everyone in the room, everyone on the board knew that as hard as that was gonna be, because there were many nonprofits who probably depended on this grant money that we gave them every year, because 'cause we'd kind of established our favorites by then, right? Because
Sure.
they fit into our mission.
Well, and you got had time to vet them, and you knew they were
Yep,
doing the right thing with the money.
yep, all those things, and so we knew it was time to do Bedtime Rescue full time. And so now I think, like I say, probably 6 years, 7 years, we've been doing Bedtime Rescue full time. We house about 30 families every single month. We have a woman who answers the phone. And so now other nonprofits, let's say you're a nonprofit that you operate a program where you help people get an apartment and to continue their life and maybe get a job and get clothes for the job and stuff. But there's this little time, this we call it a band-aid, where Cloud9 Charity steps in, policeman calls us, they're in the hotel in less than an hour
Wow.
and we get them into the hotel and they might be there a week, they might be there 2 weeks. It just gives them a second, Can you
I can't.
imagine trying to make a decision as it's not always a single mom, but quite often a single mom, she's living in her car or on the streets, and she's trying to figure out life and her next step, and they're hungry and they're cold and they're dirty and and
Yeah.
so we just give her a minute. And anyway, that's what bedtime rescue is. And I have an amazing board, and we do events still.
Okay, got a golf tournament coming
Got
up.
a golf tournament coming up on
Now,
April 8th.
this is going to live forever,
Yeah.
so we don't give dates and
Okay.
times and all locations and all
Okay.
that stuff.
Just
because
kidding.
This is going to.
We do a golf tournament every single year.
And
And
where do they find out about events?
yeah,
Where can people
Kim,
find out?
you can email me, kim@cloud9charities.org, or you can just go to Cloud9 Charities, our website, and you'll see an event tab.
Cloud
and you
nine.
can-
Do you spell 9 out, or
We
is it
do
the number
not.
9?
It's just the number 9.
Cloud number 9,
Mm-hmm.
not number. Cloud 9, the number.
Charities.
The
dot
charities.
org.
.org.
We have a new event coming up. I'm going to just say it's in October because it will probably always live
Is
in
this the
October.
replacement for
Yes.
the Best Little Brew Fest?
So we have done an event this would have been our 12th year, Best Little Brew Fest in Texas, and it's been amazing until
it has been amazing.
It just got to the point where it wasn't growing. And I also think maybe events kind of have a lifespan. And for us, for the amount of work that we put into the event, it's got to pay off. And for me, I have to have a certain amount of funds left in the end to feel like I'm going to be able to help a lot of families with this money after this much work. And
Right, because it's not free to put on an event.
oh my gosh, it's so
just like any
expensive.
business, you got cost of goods and you got the delta between the money raised and whatnot.
Absolutely.
And if it's not worth it,
you have to run it like a business.
Yeah.
For you nonprofiters, you have to look at your numbers. You have to study your numbers. You have to look at an event and say, is this worth it? All those things. It took 200 volunteers to put that event on. We have a new event coming up called North Texas Tribute Jam, and it's an all-day music festival of tribute bands. And we're doing it in the city of Louisville.
I've heard some of these bands.
Yes,
And
you have.
it's unbelievable
Yes.
how authentic these sounds are.
Yes, they're so good. And so it can be more family oriented. It's not just about beer.
Beer. and
There will be
band.
beer there, but and there's food trucks there and there's vendors there still. But I think we can put this on for about a third of the price. And I think that we can put it on for about maybe 30 or 40 volunteers. That to me that's the numbers I've got to look at as a business person and say, is this event better? Could we do way better? And I think it has the possibilities to be way better.
Cloud9charities.org.
Yep.
Check it out. Golfers every year. It's a great event. I've done several of them.
Yeah.
It's just such a
We
great
know
time.
how to have fun.
They know you guys know how to party, that's for sure. I
Yeah.
love it. Let's talk a little bit about how we met.
Okay.
I
talk about it.
mentioned a few minutes ago. First of all, Ryan, how long have we been going for? No. No. How long have we been going for on this show? How many? 28. Okay. We don't have a time limit. I want to make sure if somebody's willing to sit through 28, 38, 48 minutes, whatever, I want to make sure we get Kim completely understood by the audience. And also, I want to mention, if I haven't already, that podcast that you're going to put on before we get into how we met and what Biz Owners Ed. You want to share with the world entrepreneurial principles and share experiences, lessons, because the entrepreneur is a very lonely condition.
Yeah.
A lot of people, people don't get us, unless you're one of
Different
us.
breed.
It's it's not going to just be about panties in the parking lot. It's going to be.
Although my lesson, you got to learn a lesson from it, right? It's funny.
Is there a lesson from panties?
Yeah, I got to check the parking lot every day.
Oh,
just real quick. I just, when I get there in the morning, I do a little walk or drive.
Or anything else that would be embarrassing.
There's been beer cans and there's been, there's things that, you don't want your client to see when they get there.
Well, there'll be all kinds of stories. Like, I'll give you a quick story.
Okay.
I was building a 40,000 square foot building for a company I had in California, and we had all of our palm trees delivered. And we were putting in a lot of palm trees, California palm trees. And somebody kept stealing our palm trees. So
Thieves.
we put a tracking device, a GPS tracking device, inside one of the fronds of the palm tree, and we had cameras in the building.
Oh my gosh.
So sure enough, a couple days later, come to work, whole pallet, like $10,000 in palm trees, gone. Looked at the cameras. We saw the kind of car. We looked up on the computer the GPS, found the trees in somebody's backyard, called the sheriff, went, pulled the guy out in his underwear, grand theft felony. So we grab the trees, we put them in our truck, we take the cheese back to the mousetrap. The next morning, the trees are gone again.
Are you kidding?
A completely different thief on the other side of town. I called the sheriff. They come, arrest the guy, grand theft felony, theft. And we grab the trees. And the sheriff says to us, I love law enforcement. This one guy, I don't know what the deal was, but he says, you need to cut this crap out. You're entrapping people. I'm like, bro, what is your badge number? I'm calling your boss. We're doing your job for you. We're catching bad guys. They're
You'd
coming
rather
onto
have
my
your trees.
They're coming onto my property.
I'd rather have my
stealing
trees,
my
dude. I
stuff.
ain't got time for this.
I just happen to have cameras and a tracking device. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Anyway, stories like that.
Yes.
in
And I want
business.
to know, we could sit here literally all day and tell different stories. I'm in the salon business, and it's very true that your stylist there's just this connection. I am in one of the rare industries where I can touch you. I touch you, I touch your head,
Oh,
I
yeah.
shampoo your head. There becomes this closeness, right? I mean, it's just a different relationship.
Yeah.
And normally, your clients, I have clients that I've done for 40 years, 44 years. I have a client. And so anyway, you develop these really, really close relationships. And I feel like I totally lost my train of thought.
Well, we're going to move on, but I've had the same girl cutting my hair, this little 4'9" tall lady from Cambodia named Moni. She just understands my hair.
Yeah.
And before that, in 25,
Yeah.
27 years, she's been cutting my hair. I fly to California sometimes, and I save my haircut just for her.
Oh, I know. I got it back. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, you get this intimacy, and they tell you crazy things. It's very true. You hear that rumor. It's not a rumor. It's true. But just real quick, I had a client many years ago who gets in my chair and says, oh my gosh, I've had such an exciting week. Listen to this. And she had a new Cadillac and she didn't like it. And she took it out and burned it. She told me that. And I'm like, oh my God, you
Okay,
burnt?
so your panties in the parking lot has
It's
burning
nothing.
cars in it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the whole point of panties in the parking lot, it's supposed to be funny and cute and catchy.
But some of them are going to be near misses, almost died in the situation. My business almost failed. And died.
I got to this point in my life where I was terrified, and this is how I got through it. And how did you get through a terrifying and scary moment in your business? That's what I want it to
Sure.
be. I want it to be business owners, past, present, all those things, even maybe future. Our little guy
It's
here.
funny. There's a lot of symmetry here. The Rick Hopper show has several different playlists. One of them is Story Time with the Legends. That it's story after story after story from business owners that feeds Biz Owners Ed class members.
Right.
I'm going to do the Coastal series. I'm going to have surfers and legends of the West Coast on the show. I'm going to do the ranch series. I got 160 acres in Oklahoma and 20 cows. And I'm
You're
a
gonna
California
review the
boy
cows.
originally. So I got all these good old boys up in Oklahoma that have taken me under their wing and just loving on me and showing me everything I need to know and and all their stories are unbelievable. I'm going to do a series with those guys. I'm going to do a series called Do's and Dids with Rick Hopper, because entrepreneurs hate do's and don'ts.
Yep.
But we love sitting around a fire pit talking about the stuff we do and some of the things we did, not all of which we're proud of.
Yes.
So the Rick Hopper show, or it's going to be called This Is Not the Rick Hopper Show. We'll explain that later. But what you're going to do is the things you share, the people you have access to, are going to be able to reach people I could never reach.
Sure.
I can reach drug addicts.
And
I was strung out on meth for
yeah,
2.5 years. There are some people I can reach with my experience. I know you are no
yeah,
no perfect angels too.
yes,
That's one of the reasons we
yes.
get along so.
Hey, you started to tell how we met. We haven't done that yet.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go. Let's do that
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
So we're gonna talk about Biz Owners Ed
Yeah.
and how we met. And
Your
this is
sad,
your
sad
show today,
friend.
Kim.
Yes.
Tell us how we met.
Okay.
Tell
So
them how we met.
yes, so Jay and Betty Rogers are dear friends of ours and mentors for all of us from Biz Owners Ed. But I met them actually in a coffee shop, and I would only allow myself to have coffee on Friday because that's all I could afford because I had had a mass exodus in my salon.
Okay, for
And
the record, when you own a salon
mm-hmm,
and you had a mass exodus, that means the girls that pay rent
mm-hmm,
that make it so you can actually earn a living
yeah,
leave.
yes,
Okay, I want the world to know what mass
yes.
exodus means.
I didn't know till
So
that
you're
day.
so this is this after the mass exodus? You can only afford coffees on Friday?
Oh, absolutely. And I think most likely I probably had a gift card if the if I was telling the truth. Client probably felt bad for me and gave me a gift card. But I would go every Friday, and there was this couple who always had their beautiful brown lab laying there, and he had this beautiful, deep, gruff voice, and she was just so
You're not
beautiful to
talking
me.
about the lab, you're talking about Jay.
Yes, and she was
Jay
so
Rogers.
yes, and she was so elegant. I
She's
just
so
always
beautiful.
thought she was so beautiful and the way she dressed and all
She's
these
so
things.
beautiful.
And so, you're in line and they're sitting there. And so they would strike up conversations. And finally, one Friday, he said, young lady, what do you do? I said, well, I'm a salon owner and my name's, or he
Tell me
said,
about your business.
yeah. Yep. And tell me who you are. And anyway, she said that she had been hearing about me and been wanting to come have a haircut with me. And so she did. And during that haircut, she looked around and saw the emptiness of my current situation. Now, not everybody was gone. I was very blessed. That's one of my big, big,
But
big, big
everybody that was
lessons.
there could feel that
Oh,
vast
I mean, it was,
cavity of
yeah, yeah, it was obvious. And so she started asking me some questions, and she told me that she had a nonprofit that helped business owners, and that she thought I would be a great candidate. And
in other words, they made an exception to the rules.
a lot of them. You needed to have, like, a
You're supposed to have
successful
$1 million
business.
in revenue, at least 5
I
employees.
did, and then
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah. Oh
So
gosh. So I walk into this room, and I truly did not know what to expect. There's so much more now, like you pre-meet and, you kinda have
yeah.
some
So
mixers and
you didn't
stuff.
have to qualify. Okay, it was this. First of all, I want to set the stage a little bit. I want to tell the world what Biz Owners Ed is.
Yes.
Jay and Betty and a couple other people, David Hammer, Jim Attrell. There was during a presidential administration that was pro union and really bad for a lot of regulations were happening, bad for small businesses. These guys were very successful. They had built and sold 20 companies, and they really put their money where their heart was. And their heart was they wanted to help serious, committed entrepreneurs grow and scale their companies. And they do that through experience and wisdom. A lot of like Panties in Parking Lot and the Rick Hopper
Yeah.
Show. We want to share our wisdom and experience with people to help them just do better in life. Well, they did it about 12 years ago. They put together a program called Biz Owners Ed. And what we do is throughout the year, we interview 30, 40, 50 business owners that
Yep.
meet certain criteria. And then we interview them and we select 12 class members each year for a 10-week class. Night before last
Last one.
was the 10th Tuesday of our 10-week session.
Mhm.
And if you're interested at all in growing and scaling your company and joining a community of people who really care about kind of locking arms together, come join us at Biz Owners Ed. Check it out, bizownersed.org. So that's what Kim's talking about when she said when she walked
Yes.
into that room,
Oh.
you didn't feel like you
Room
belonged.
of 12. I was in a really bad place. I mean, the joke now, all these years later, because I still go to as many of them as I can, and I was crying all the time.
I know. I was in Kim's class.
Yes, we were in
As
class
a matter of
together.
fact, the class of 2014 is epic.
It
We've
is.
done a lot of great stuff.
It is.
So that's where we met. First day of
Yes.
class. There's Kim.
Yes.
She's already crying.
Yeah, because every week there's several different mentors that speak, right?
Yep.
And I needed every single thing. I needed the banker for the banking relationship. I definitely needed to know how to be grateful. I didn't feel real grateful.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
there
a
were
great combination of inspiration and
yeah,
information
sales. I
and
needed
wisdom.
to sell something so I could keep this building
Process,
going. I mean,
hiring,
I
culture
had no
index.
systems. And then they felt probably pitiful for me. And Jay started sending me his CPA who taught me to go line to line to line on every single thing and to actually reach out to these people and say, I'm in a pickle.
So you
And
went through your P&L,
oh,
every single
he
expense
said,
you
how long
called.
have you been with Verizon? 20 years. Well, you need to call them. You need to say, what can you do to help me? And
I'm in a situation. Does
everything,
anybody care?
every single person cared. Every single person helped me, whether it was insurance or your phone bill or your turning your electric up to. Everybody had advice and help to get those numbers
You
to
know
where I could take care.
the two hardest words for humans to say?
Please
Help me.
help me. Oh
And
boy.
but when you do and you mean it, it's amazing how many people that will.
Oh, and remember, Facebook was starting. So he sent me Eve, who had written a book
Eve
on
Mayer.
social media and
Oh,
Facebook, and she set up my page, and I started getting
she was a
stylists
pioneer,
that
huh?
way and stuff. Yeah, she was. Anyway, just learning. I was a sponge, but I was sad because I felt betrayed. And I've learned so much since then. I still have very close relationships with my team. But I also
Okay,
know
don't skip back. We're still talking about how we met, biz
yes,
owners ed,
sorry.
because we're not going to drift
Yeah,
back
yeah,
into.
yes, I could.
But
So we were together every, Tuesday for 10 weeks, and the funny part is you would talk about your wife in California, and I started teasing you and telling you didn't have one because we never met her.
nobody ever met that. And I think she was in California for what 4 years, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
All my friends in Texas didn't even believe I had a wife. They
yeah,
thought maybe I
yeah,
don't
uh-huh.
know.
And so, we just built a really close friendship, and then one of the things that that group did for me is help me to get back my belief in myself, and one of those pieces was they were putting together this trip, and Jay was like, "Give me your deposit." I'm like, "I can't give you a
Going on a
deposit for a
cruise to
trip."
Alaska? Are you kidding
No,
me?
we were going
I can only afford coffee on Fridays.
yeah, exactly. And he said, "You will be fine by then." And I was single at the
Wow.
time,
So
and
he had the confidence
oh, he knew everything was
that
gonna
you
be
didn't
okay.
have.
Uh
It's amazing how big we feel when we're standing on the shoulders of giants
Yeah, boy,
who
isn't that
believe in
true?
us.
I mean,
I got
he
goosebumps
did.
even saying
He
it out
did.
loud.
He did, and he does. He did, and he does.
Yeah.
And he terrified me at that time because everything I was doing was wrong, and he loved to tell me that because he wanted me to be better.
He
Not
only
because
beats
he's
us up because he loves us.
yeah, yeah, and I can say that he now is, proud of me, and he likes the way that I do things, but it was a long journey
I
there.
think the UPS guy's at the back door. My dog is going to go
Yes.
eat him up. Don't worry about it.
Get him, Penny. Anyway, so, we, we met in that so this trip was coming up and I was like, okay, he was gonna put me with another woman in a room because I was single and she was single.
Right.
And
Cut the
this
cost
to
in
me,
half.
this just tells me how fast life changes. So during that 10-week course,
Oh, that's where Christopher came.
and then I think the trip was in October. Yeah, I think
Was it
so.
May?
So in January,
I don't
no,
remember.
October.
That's right.
So of the following year, yeah, following year. So you had to get your deposit in and you had to be fully paid by the following January. So they felt like in that year I was going to rebound and be great and be able to pay for this trip. Well, in September, I meet Christopher.
Promise that one of the Panties in the Parking Lot episodes,
It's
you're going to
Christopher.
tell about the letter you wrote. Was it the poem or the letter to
Poem.
God? The poem
Poem.
you wrote. Oh, you
Describing.
defined. Okay, we're not going to get into it because we'll both start bawling.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher is actual angel. And
Yes.
it came to Kim. Anyway, so
Yeah.
you're
Yes.
going you're going to get on the cruise.
Well, with another
You
woman.
already committed to it.
And so I meet Christopher, we're dating, it's getting serious, and I say, hey, I'm supposed to, if I'm going to go on this trip next October, I've got to pay my deposit. If you think you're still going to be around and you want to go, you should pay your deposit too. And he did. And we ended up getting married the night before that trip and then went to Venice and recreated our wedding. He wanted to get married so badly, and Betty was trying to help him for us to have a wedding in one of the countries that we stopped at on this 3-week cruise, and it just wasn't gonna I didn't tell y'all that part. It was a 3-week trip I was trying to save up for. Anyway, and
How many
so
coffees does it take to make one of those to
yeah,
happen?
yeah. And so I ended up on that trip with a husband who we celebrate, I think, our 9th anniversary this year. So
And the trip, neither did the trip break you, but you know
no,
what it did? The manifestation of those that had confidence in you deepened and solidified your relationship, lifelong relationships with a community of people that you met at Biz Owners Ed.
yeah,
Look, our life isn't Biz Owners Ed,
no,
but when we go and give and learn and share as a community of entrepreneurs, the personal relationships that have spawned out of that is
and we've
just
been able to invite others to come experience the same thing. I mean, I have watched some fantastic business owners become even better through that class that
yeah.
maybe we
Okay, so
suggested.
that's
But
how we
anyway,
met.
so Diane, one night we're at Marty B's, and you walk up with Diane, and we're getting ready to go on, I think, our next trip. I don't think I met her during the first trip. I met her right before the second trip,
Oh
which we
yes,
ended up
that's
on.
right.
And that's one of your points, is that you can't travel with everybody, but
Right.
boy, can we ever travel
We can
together.
travel anywhere,
Yeah.
anytime.
Yeah. So she and I have
So you
become
met
dear,
Diane
dear
finally.
friends.
She existed.
She actually has a space in the Cloud9 building. She has Cloud and Feather Boutique, and I'm so proud of her.
Me
because I'll
too.
get
You know, this is
emotional.
her first business,
But yeah,
and she
she's killed
absolutely
it.
nailed it.
And today, I had a client that's like, I just got to quit coming in here. I mean, so she knew the audience, and she
Yeah.
figured it out, and she has the right stuff
Yeah, the
there. So,
compliments she gets
yeah,
are everybody says the same thing.
yeah,
Your mix of products is
yes,
amazing. Keep things fresh,
yep,
and your price point's right.
yes,
She's not trying to gouge
yeah,
anybody. She's being
yep,
really fair about it.
yep,
And it's
love it.
beautiful. And it's a beautiful boutique.
Yeah, and I have to stay out there too. But anyway, but now I can have coffee. You know what? I don't even hardly ever drink coffee now. But I remember thinking that was, that was my punishment.
Okay, so that's how we met.
Yep.
We talked about your Cloud9 charities. We talked a little bit about the podcast upcoming. I'm going to wrap this up here. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. I'm afraid if we get into more topics, we'll be here all day, and people have things to do. They can't just sit here and listen to us
That's
talk all day.
That's right.
So I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show, teasing us with some up and coming stuff. And I promise I'm going to have Kim back. We're going to talk about stuff that'll blow your mind. Her experiences, my experiences, the things we share, and the relationships we built. Kim, I love you.
Love you. Thank you. Will you be my first guest on my